Hi friends, welcome to our channel. It has a beautiful sunny day in the park and all of our favorite cartoon characters are there enjoying the weather. Tom and Jerry are chasing each other around the trees. Tweety is hopping about, singing a little song while he looks for some seeds. And Bugs Bunny is just relaxing under a tree, chewing on a carrot and watching the world go by. He sees Daffy Duck waddling his way over to a large pond in the center of the park. Bugs leans back and watches with amusement as Daffy starts to take off his coat and tie. "What's up, Doc?" says Bugs. "Hey, what's up, replies Daffy. "I'm just going swimming." "Oh well, that sounds fun," says Bugs. "Can I come along?" "Well, sure," says Daffy. "Why not? The more the merrier." Daffy and Bugs make their way to the edge of the pond. Bugs slips his feet into the water and immediately yelps as the water is ice cold. "Brr," he says, shivering. "This water is freezing. How are you gonna swim in this, Doc?" Daffy takes a deep breath and cannonballs into the water. He comes back up sputtering and shaking the water out of his feathers. "Come on, Bugs," he says. "It's really not that bad once you get used to it." Bugs takes another quick look at the uninviting water and then back at the nice warm tree. He decides he'd rather stay out of the water. So he tells Daffy that he'll just watch him swim and then goes back to his carrot. Daffy swims around in the pond for a bit, but soon gets bored of swimming laps by himself. He wants to play a game, but he doesn't know what to play. Suddenly, he spots a group of fish swimming near the surface of the water and an idea comes to him. He calls out to the fish, "Hey, you guys want to play a game with me?" The fish stop what they're doing and look up at Daffy. "Sure," says one of the fish. "What do you want to do?" "Well," says Daffy, "how about a game of catch? I'll throw this worm over there and you try to catch it." Daffy grabs a worm from his pocket and winds back his arm for a mighty throw. He lets the worm fly through the air and it lands right in the waiting mouth of the fish. "Good job," says Daffy, chuckling to himself. "That was easy." Daffy throws the worm back and the fish easily catches it again. "Again," says Daffy, grinning. And again. The fish quickly gets bored of the game and swims off. Daffy keeps throwing the worm in the general direction of where he saw the fish, but doesn't see any sign of him. He looks around and notices all the other fish staring at him from a distance. What's up with them? He asks himself. Just then, one of the fish swims up to him and says, yeah, you wouldn't happen to have any more of those worms on you, would ya?" "Nope," says Daffy, pulling a face. "You know, we're not really big fans of eating worms here. You got anything else?" "Well," says the fish, "how about a game of hide and seek?" "Yeah, okay, let's do that," says Daffy. All the fish swim away as fast as they can and hide in the tall reeds at the edge of the pond. "All right," says Daffy. "Who's first?" "Ready or not, here I come." Daffy dives under the water and starts looking for the fish. He looks behind the rocks under the logs but can't find any of the fish. He surfaces to take a breather and sees Bugs sitting on a nearby rock munching on his carrot. "Hey Bugs," says Daffy, "do you know where all those fish went?" "Nope," says Bugs with a mischievous grin. "Didn't see him go by." Daffy thinks for a second and then says, "Hey, maybe they all went to go hide in your burrow. Want to check it out?" "Sure," says Bugs. "Why not?" The two of them make their way over to Bugs' burrow. As Daffy approaches, he sees something moving inside the hole. "There they are," he says excitedly. "I knew they all went to hide in your burrow." The creature comes out of the hole and it's not a fish. It's Mr. and Mrs. Turtle and their 3 little turtle children. "Hey, Mr. Turtle," says Daffy. "Have you seen any fish around here?" "Well, now that I think about it," says Mr. Turtle, "I did see a whole school of them earlier. They were headed over to the big waterfall at the far end of the lake. I think they're playing tag or something." "Great," says Daffy. "Thanks for the info." Daffy and Bugs arrive at the waterfall just in time to see all the fish racing past them at top speed. They're playing a rousing game of tag, and it looks like a lot of fun. Daffy turns to Bugs and says, "Say, Bugs, why don't we join in on the fun and play a game of tag?" "Sure," says Bugs, "but I warn ya, I'm it." Daffy isn't listening, though. He's already off and running after the nearest fish. Bugs gives chase, but he's not nearly as fast as Daffy. He can't believe how fast that duck can run. He looks back and sees Daffy gaining on the fish. "I got ya," he says, reaching out a hand to grab the fish's tail. But the fish darts to the side at the last second and Daffy runs right into a log, knocking himself out cold. Bugs slows down to a walk and reaches the fish. Sorry, pal, he says, but I gotta say, that was one crazy game of tag. The fish nods in agreement. Yeah, he says, and he thinks we need a new game to play. The fish and Bugs start to walk back to the main part of the lake when suddenly Bugs stops in his tracks. He looks back at the unconscious form of Daffy and says, Say, that poor duck is going to be out cold for a long time. We better help him out. The fish and Bugs walk back over to Daffy. Hey, you guys, says Daffy grudgingly, what happened? You passed out from hitting that log, says the fish. We were wondering if you wanted to play another game. No, I don't think I will, says Daffy, rubbing his head. I think I'll just take a nap. The fish look at each other and then dive under the water. They all swim to the bottom of the lake and pull out a giant clamshell. They drag it to the surface and pop it down beside Daffy. Here, says one of the fish, you can use this as a pillow. Daffy looks at the massive clamshell and then at the fish. You guys are the greatest, he says. He lays his head on the clamshell and falls fast asleep. Bugs sits on a nearby rock and watches over Daffy to make sure he's alright. After a while, he starts to feel a little bored. He looks around for something to do when he sees a bunch of sticks lying on the ground. An idea comes to him. He gathers up some of the sticks and makes a small fire. He walks over to the sleeping Daffy and uses a stick to gently poke him in the chest. Wake up, Daffy, he says. It's time to go home. Daffy wakes up with a start. Oh, hi, Bugs, he says grudgingly. How'd you get here? I walked, says Bugs. So why don't you put some more clothes on and we can head back together? Daffy looks down at himself and realizes he's still only wearing his swimming trunks. Oh boy, he says. Daffy dives under the water to retrieve his clothes. As he surfaces, he sees all the fish waving goodbye to him. He waves back and thanks them for letting him play with them. He pulls his clothes out of the water and runs to catch up with Bugs, who's already halfway home. Daffy reaches Bugs and says, Thanks for taking care of me, pal. That was really nice of you. No problem, says Bugs, grinning. Anytime, pal. The two of them continue on their way home, happy to have made such good friends with the fish. And that's the end of our story. The very adventurous cartoon characters playing with the fish. If you enjoyed this video, please leave us a like and comment for more content like this.